Hey everybody, my name's Nate Hicks. Welcome back to the channel. I'm one of the owners at Painted Arrow, and today we're gonna do something kind of fun. We're gonna review a saddle setup. This is the TETHRD lockdown saddle. I've had this for about a year and a half, 2 years now, and I just wanted to do a video and kind of give you guys my feelings on it. I've got to use it a lot. I've shot some animals out of it, and we're just gonna go find a tree out in the woods, do a mock setup, and I'm just gonna walk you guys through some of my thoughts, and here we go, let's roll. We're gonna sit on that tree right there, and if it gets buggy, we're gonna boogie, you know what I mean? You know, one thing that we often get asked is like, hey, do you recommend saddle hunting? Well, coming from a guy like me, when I was a kid, I really loved climbing trees, and like if you just take the hunting completely out of this conversation, just the vehicle for which you ascend into the tree, just that alone, I'm sold on it. I think it's a lot of fun, you know what I mean? So as we set up here, again, like I told you guys, I've owned this setup right here for probably about a year and a half. I've had 2 hunting seasons with it. And like, as the name suggests, this is the lockdown setup. And I think that name kind of tells you what this saddle setup is about. It's made for long hunts, supposed to be comfortable, gives you maximum ability to store different things. And I guess we'll start there. One thing that makes this setup really unique that I've found that I really like, I used to run the Phantom saddle setup, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I've only ever used TETHRD products for saddles. I've tried a lot of different other brands while at trade shows, but one thing that I've noticed, you know, the Phantom versus this is a one-hand system, right? A lot of the other packs, they aren't able to do that. You have to come down here, have a 2-hand approach where you grab it and then do it. And what they did, I'm not sure what it is, but this is like a rigid interior piece that they sewed in, so it allows it to, it's rigid. So like basically it keeps this able to do with one hand. It's a really big deal. And I'm sure that TETHRD has a specific name that they call that, but like that to me is a huge selling point. If you're in the dark, you're climbing up the tree, you know, you're relying on a lot of your instincts, and you only have one hand. So that's a really big item for me. Another point, as we're kind of talking about the sis haulers here, these are built into the saddle setup, right? So a lot of the other systems I've seen, you have to buy a la carte different systems where you attach it to your saddle, and like that is how you are transporting things into the field with you. This is sewn in. So like this is probably the most luxurious that I've seen, where you have all these different, like right here I got my grunt tube, right? Got that in there. That takes up like very little space. There's these outside pleats basically where you can put, you know, different carabiners, you know, little rope. Maybe you like Zen. You can put a little tin of Zen in there, no problem. You could put just about anything in those outside pockets. The inside also has these additional storage locations. So if you want to put, you know, separate things in there, like what do I have in here? This is a backrest, right? I can pull this out. I do this on long hunts where I want to be comfortable. I'll put this out, pop this in here, and this allows me to kind of be comfortable, right? I just have that tossed right in there. You can see I got mobile set there for rattling. It just shows you how much space you truly have in there, and they really thought it through for being able to store things. Like this is a huge plus when you're looking at getting into a system. I've really loved having this amount of storage versus the other set that I've typically used, which was the Phantom. And this is probably the most storage I've seen that's built into the saddle. One other thing that I personally really like about this setup in general is these suspenders here, okay? These suspenders can easily be taken off. There's 3 locations, one on the front left, one in the front right, and then one in the back. There's actually two in the back, I'm sorry. But basically, if you didn't want to run this, just pop them off real quick, and you can literally go into the stand with just the saddle. The reason that I like this, okay, you have the molly webbing here, okay? You have this front chest piece, which I really like because it keeps everything centered. And it carries the load. So like as you go into the woods, this is kind of like that all day, take everything with you setup. You can basically load this down heavy and you're carrying the load on your shoulders, okay? So as before, you weigh these down heavy, you're sagging all the time, you're sagging heavy. You put this on your shoulders and you don't even really feel the load. Another thing I'll say about these suspenders here, this is what I've found is my style, but you can easily put this on your t-shirt, put a jacket over top of these, and it's like completely out of the way. It feels like you only have the saddle around your waist. You completely put a jacket or your outer layer over top of these, and it's so nice because like there's nothing in front of you when you're shooting. There's nothing that like is gonna get caught in the line. It's really, really nice. So this is something too, like there's different methods on how you lean up against a tree. I prefer to have like a pair of knee pads. I'm a bigger guy too. I'm 6'3", and like finding comfort in a saddle system is a very widely discussed topic. Like you want to be comfortable in the stand, and this being like that all day, go far, go deep, stay long setup with the lockdown, comfort was something that I found this is as comfortable as I've ever been in a saddle. And the reason, I think, there's different setups that I've seen out on the market, but this right here, you can see it's like they sewed in like a marble. And these girth hitch, so you can basically just see if we can loosen this here to show you guys, but you can loosen this girth hitch and choose which marble you want to cinch it down between. And what that basically does is it gives you a different feel, you know, depending on where you decide to place it. I found that the middle, for me, again, I'm 6'3", I keep my bridge really long, almost all the way extended. And for me, like they talk about pinch of the hips, this allows you to basically hone in as close as possible what feels good to you. And everybody's gonna be different. You can't sit here and say that, you know, having a shorter or longer bridge is the way to go. Everybody's different. People weigh different amounts. They have different balance places. You know, once you start shooting and practicing, like you'll find that certain things are just different on your hip system. And that is probably the biggest thing you want to try and figure out for you is like the pinching of your hips. That's probably as you saddle hunt longer periods of time, that's the first thing you start to feel. And having like this ability to adjust and maneuver, I've found that it's been great for me. All right, now I'm gonna show you my butt real quick. Basically, there's multiple systems out there that have these extendable pleats. So basically you can pull this down. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a piece of elastic strap on the back. There's two of them. And that allows you, if you're sitting down and like you feel like this is riding up your backside, you can pull this down, and it's a bucket that gets underneath your butt a little bit more. And again, this is not the only brand or saddle that includes this. However, what TETHRD specifically did, they have on a nylon strap so it retracts. That's unique to this setup. So a lot of times in other brands, I've seen it where you pull it down and once it's out and extended, it's there for a while, and it's really hard if you're up in a tree to kind of pull it back. This automatically pulls it back with those nylon straps, and they actually include 2 extra ones in the kit so that, you know, over time the elastic kind of gets expanded and it doesn't work as well. They include that second set in there for you guys, so you basically can use that for many, many years. And that's a really cool feature. Like, you know, sometimes everything just starts riding up and you just gotta pull that down and get that extra bucket underneath you, and it just provides so much comfort. And that's probably one of the hottest features on this product here. So one thing I did want to bring up is price. This is a more expensive setup, especially if you're going from ground up, right? You have nothing to start with. You know, I had some of these different lines to start with, but like this is not like an entry level setup. But in my opinion, like I think most people probably agree, like when it comes to hunting and gear and being comfortable and having the maximum amount of efficiency and all the little features, like I'm not personally too terribly worried about cost. Like I view it as an investment. Like this is something I've used for a long time. You can use these for many, many years. You obviously want to make sure everything stays in good shape. You store it the right way because your life is quite literally on the line. However, like this is a more expensive setup. I'm not personally terribly worried about it because I view it as an investment, and I'm a hunter. That's what I love to do. This is my thing, and I think a lot of you guys can probably relate with that. All right, guys, this is my 1 year review after owning the Lockdown saddle by Tethered. I still think that this is very much a top tier saddle out there, and I think it's worth looking into if you're trying to get into a saddle that's got all the bells and whistles. It's going to allow you to stay out as long as possible, be most comfortable. You know, I'd love to hear your guys' comments. If you think that there's a saddle out there that competes with it, if you think that, you know, you own this and you have some different things that you have enjoyed or maybe disliked about it, leave those comments so other people can learn from it. But I'm definitely going to be running this year. I don't see a need to update anything. I love it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And don't forget, guys, to relive the hunt.